Hi, I'm Van. I'm an ordinary worker living on a small island in Vietnam. I'm on a holiday from work, so I decided to spend a few quiet days back home with my parents. Today, I'm going fishing, staying close to home, and cooking one of the simple meals many island families grew up with. If you have a little time, I'd be happy if you stay here with me. I managed to get a handful of tiny shrimp to use as fishing bait. I'll be eating lunch alone today because my parents are still at work, even though they already passed retirement age. Cooking for just one person is simple. Sometimes you don't need to spend money if you can find another way. I was on Cat Ba Island, one of Vietnam's most popular tourist destinations. This is Cat Hai Island, right next to it. Life here is much quieter and much simpler. My family has lived on this island for 5 generations. Although the two islands are only about 30 minutes apart by ferry, life feels completely different. Not long ago, almost no visitors came here. Most young people, including me, had to leave home to find work somewhere else, hoping for a better future. Things have slowly started to change. A large electric vehicle factory was built nearby, creating jobs for many local families. For the first time in years, some young people no longer have to leave the island just to make a living. The sun is already getting strong. I better cover up a little. Too much sunlight isn't very kind to your skin. When I was a kid, we couldn't afford a proper fishing rod. We would cut a piece of bamboo, tie on a fishing line, add a hook, and that was enough. Looking back, it was a simple way to fish. These days, it's actually harder to find the bamboo and other natural materials than it was back then. Little by little, nature is changing. I'm tying a small sinker onto the line so the bait will stay underwater. No one really looks after this area, so I can fish here whenever I want. There aren't many kinds of seafood here, though mostly just a few small ones. Alright, first cast. Hopefully, today will be a lucky day. In Vietnam, there's an old saying that has been passed down for generations. When dragonflies fly low, rain is coming. When they fly high, the weather will be sunny. When they fly somewhere in between, it'll be cloudy. A moment ago, you probably noticed a dragonfly flying right beside me, very close to the ground. I guess the old saying might be right. Looks like the fish are luckier than me today. Beautiful view, isn't it? You might make more money living in a big city, but I think I get a lot more fresh air. Summer in Vietnam can be unpredictable. One minute is bright sunshine, the next is pouring with rain. Standing in the rain for too long is an easy way to get sick. I don't want my parents worrying about me while I'm home. I guess I have to find another plan for lunch today. The rain hasn't stopped yet, but I think I know what I'm going to cook. Do you remember those tiny shrimp I picked up this morning? Looks like they're finally going to be useful. I'm heading into the garden to pick some Vietnamese basil. It's one of the herbs we use almost every day. It has a fresh, fragrant smell and goes well with many different dishes. I only pick the tender tips. That way, the plant can keep growing. A small handful like this is more than enough. The basil came from our own garden, so I only need to rinse it with the rainwater we collected. Tap water only reached this island about 3 years ago. Before that, we rely on wells and rainwater for almost everything. This is how we dry vegetables after washing them. Around here, we jokingly call it the vegetable shake. It's harder than it looks. If you've mastered this skill, people might say you're finally ready to get married. Well, you still need a girlfriend first. Around here, these are called tiny shrimp. They're soft, inexpensive, and very common. If I had to buy them, they probably cost about 30 cents. Luckily, today they were free. A little salt, a splash of oil, and that's enough protein for lunch. Today's lunch is something we simply call banh bot. It's made from very simple ingredients, but it's filling, inexpensive, and reminds me of home. I'll start with some flour. You can find it in almost every small grocery store here. 1 kilogram costs a little over $1. Then I slowly mix it with water until the batter becomes smooth. Once everything comes together, I cover it and let it rest in the refrigerator. I'm not exactly sure why. My mother always says it makes the pancake crispier, so I never question it. These eggs came from our own chicken. In Vietnam, 10 eggs usually cost around $1 or $2. They're one of the cheapest sources of protein we have. What about where you live? While the batter is resting, I'll make the dipping sauce. No meal like this feels complete without it. Chili is a big part of Vietnamese cooking. Ours can be surprisingly spicy, and I love it. a little chopped chili, some garlic. A spoonful of sugar, 2 spoons of fish sauce. Fish sauce is something we use almost every day on the island. It's made by fermenting fish or seafood with salt for months. It may smell strong at first, but once you grow up with it, it smells like home. Then I add a little vinegar, some water, half a lime, and give everything a good stir. Sweet, sour, salty, spicy. Now it's ready. Looks good. The batter is ready too. Oh no, looks like we've run out of gas. At home, we still use different kinds of stoves. Gas, charcoal, even a wood-burning stove sometimes. Electricity isn't cheap during the summer because fans run almost all day. In winter, it's easier. We don't even own a heater. A 12 kilogram gas cylinder costs around $18 and usually lasts us several months. That wasn't part of the plan. I'll put the batter back in the fridge and go get a new gas cylinder. The new gas cylinder is here. One nice thing about living on a small island is that nothing is ever very far away. The delivery only took about 30 minutes. You may have noticed my mother walking past just now. She's on her lunch break. Before heading back to work, she's preparing sea vegetables to sell later. People here call this plant rau hot. Years ago, it grew wild along the coast, and almost nobody paid attention to it. Then one day, people realized it was edible. Now, it has become another small source of income for many families, including ours. The factory where my mother works is only about 100 meters from home, so she often walks back during her break. Hopefully, I don't make a mess. The secret to making a good pancake. I'm spreading the batter as thin as possible. That way it turns crispy and fragrant. And here it is. It actually reminds me of a pizza crust. I never had pizza before. It's still a little expensive for me, but maybe one day. This is my favorite way to eat it. A few basil leaves, some shrimp, a little dipping sauce. Then fold everything together. Some people mix the shrimp directly into the batter before frying. I like keeping them separate. It lets me taste each ingredient a little better. It's crispy, fragrant, and really easy to make. If you ever have the ingredient, give it a try. I think your kids would really enjoy it. These are the kinds of meals I grew up eating. Simple, comforting, and full of memory. This is my room, and this little window opens to a much bigger world. My father built this room himself a few years ago. By then, I was already old enough to think about getting married. But these days, finding the right person isn't the hardest part. Building a life you can afford together, that's much harder. The rain has stopped. Let's take a walk outside. The power lines here may look a little messy, but this island only got electricity in 1991. I think that's something worth remembering. Many families use satellite dishes just to watch television, and most rooftops are still covered with metal sheets or clay tile to help keep the houses cool during the summer. Most people here don't make much money, but they are hardworking. They look after one another, and somehow life keeps moving forward. I hope that one day people everywhere can have a peaceful and comfortable life. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. If you enjoyed this quiet little story, I really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. I try to read every comment, even if it takes me a little time. Thank you again, and I'll see you next week.